In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Cody and Teresa are with us. Hey, how are you two?
Doing awesome.
Great.
Welcome, welcome. Where do you guys live?
We're from San Marcos, Texas.
Where is that near?
That's near Austin, about 30 minutes south of Austin.
Ah, okay. Very nice. So did you fly in or drive in?
We drove.
That's a bit of a haul. That's probably, what, 12, 14 hours?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah, wow, man. A friend of mine just is from West Texas, and he just was telling me the other night he drove out there to his mother's house. Took him 16 hours. It's unbelievable. Wow, that's a lot of driving.
Yes, sir. No small accomplishment.
Well, welcome. Good to have you guys. And how much debt have you two paid off?
About $59,000.
All right. And how long did that take?
Took us about 18 months.
Good for you. And your range of income?
Starting out at about $55,000 and around $75,000.
Good for you. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I deliver pizzas. Thanks for your recommendation. And I also work in the schools as well.
Okay, cool. And what grade do you teach, Teresa?
10th grade, chemistry.
Oh, nice. That's good stuff there. I love it. Very good. Cool. So what kind of debt was the $59,000?
Our debt was starting with my car and her car. We had I had a brand new Hyundai Veloster 2015, the leather, blue stripe, I mean everything. Starting out was $26,000, and she had a brand new Kia Soul as well. That was $20,000, and then we have a newborn son Malik, which y'all see later. We had some medical bills from him, costing around $11,000.
Okay. So did you sell any cars, or did you just pay them off?
Oh, we sold them.
You sold them both?
Well, we sold Cody's car and then paid mine off.
Okay, cool. So what are you driving now, Cody?
I'm driving a 2004 Mazda Protege that I bought from her dad for $500.
Hey, yes, there you go, man. Now you're driving like no one else. Later, you'll be able to drive like no one else. You'll get a nice car again.
Yes,
you're on your way, man.
Soon enough.
You're underway. How old are you two?
I'm 25.
26.
All right, and you are debt-free.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Among your friends, aren't you weird?
Super weird.
Yes.
I mean, they all look at you like you lost your mind. You sold your car, man. Have you lost your mind?
I think so.
That's what your friends are saying, wasn't it? They were making fun of you.
Yes, sir.
I bet. Did you have cheerleaders, though, people that were cheering you on?
We did. We had a lot of people that were supporting us. So we had some of my roommates that actually went through the class with us. Our parents were very supportive of us. That we have countless meals that they provided for us.
Ah, there you go. Yes. And so you went through Financial Peace University then?
Yes, we did.
Okay, cool. Is that what started this whole thing, or tell me the story? What started 18 months ago?
Well, just before we got married, about 2 years ago, his parents bought us the class as kind of like a part of our premarital counseling, and told us about it, told us, what you were all about. And so we took the class, and then he was kind of on board, and he had to kind of drag me along at first. But after we got through the class and realized like just how much debt that we had and just all the things that we could do after we got rid of the debt, then then we just went through the whole process.
Cool. So you guys went through the class pre-marriage?
Yes,
sir.
Wow. So Cody, were your parents on this stuff for a long time, or?
At our church, they had provided it. My parents had taken it and took a few of the principles, and some of them they used, some of them they didn't. But yes, sir, they had always been pretty financially wise. That was something that was growing up in my house that was convicting for me, that God had always provided for us financially. Growing up, we had never really had to struggle for money, and coming to college, that was kind of before we took in the Financial Peace University. For myself, I found myself making a paycheck at work through college, and my parents paid for all my expenses. And I would always get my paycheck, and at the end of the month, I would have no money left over. And I was always trying to figure out, like, where did that money go? My parents pay for all my expenses, and I don't have any money left over. But my parents were.
So you grew up kind of knowing how to do this stuff, and so it was easier for you to jump in. And then, Teresa, you got in the class, and that's what made you be able to plug in then.
Yeah, up until that point, money had just kind of been a very scary topic for me. I didn't grow up with... my family didn't have a whole lot of money or manage it very well, and so
that's most people. Yeah.
Yes. And so all through college, like I would get a paycheck, and then same thing, kind of just wonder where it all went. And every month was just a crisis. Like, how am I going to pay rent and buy groceries? And while we were dating, I was, the first of the month, I was almost always crying or having to ask my parents for money, and it was just terrifying to think about
when you grow up around a lot of financial stress, where there's yelling and there's fights over money and people are freaked out and they're worried and wringing their hands over money all the time, money becomes a real fearful topic. When you say money, you want to go in the corner and suck your thumb. I mean, it's terrifying.
Yes, sir.
that's one of the reasons we ended up calling it financial peace all those years ago, because very few people have peace over this subject. And sometimes it's just the way you were raised and you never were given the tools, and sometimes it's the actual situation that steals your peace. You got too much debt and all those kinds of things. But you guys are incredible. What a great start you got, man. You're rock stars.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. 25, 26 years old. Boom, man.
Yes, sir.
You did it. Baby comes. You're debt-free. Life is good. The jobs are rolling. This is good, man. This is good. I'm so proud of y'all. You got to feel great. Do you feel great?
It feels awesome.
Oh, I feel wonderful.
Before the class, I remember we would always go to her parents' house because they were always cooking great meals for us. And this was before we were married, so we would talk about money. But I wasn't really responsible for her. She wasn't really responsible for me. It was kind of something that we had kept separate. And I remember always, she would always go talk to her parents about money, and we'd be leaving, and she'd always be crying. And it was always she was always real hurt about the money topic and the topic of money. And after Financial Peace University, I remember the first time she really felt that peace. I remember we were driving through the road to our karate class, and she had needed a flat tire to buy, and she had called her dad saying, hey, and like before she could even say anything, she had mentioned needing a tire, and he's like, all right, honey, I'm going to send you some money. You don't have to worry about it. And she was actually calling to let him know that we had saved up our $1,000 emergency fund and had the money to buy the tire, and that he didn't have to worry about it. And that was kind of the first time she realized, like, whoa, I have money to buy something for an emergency?
Yeah,
I don't have an
wow.
emergency. I actually have that money.
That's a very cool. There's the switch flips in your emotions then.
Yes.
It's like, I got this. I got this. Good for
to
you.
finally feel like financially independent was just an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
I think it was like the first month that I didn't cry about my bills.
I understand. Well, congratulations, you two. Very, very proud of you. Well, we've got a copy of Chris Hogan's book for you, Retire Inspired, signed by Mr. Hogan himself, #1 bestseller. That's the next chapter in your story. We want you to be millionaires and be outrageously generous along the way. I think you're on your way.
Yes,
I
sir.
think you're on your way.
Thank
you. Appreciate that.
You can learn to control money at 25 years old. You are on your way. And your son is with you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
how old is he?
He's 9 months old yesterday.
All right. And what is his name?
His name is Malik.
All right, cute boy. Good stuff. I love it. All right, Cody and Teresa and Malik, $59,000 paid off in 18 months, making 55 to 75 at 25 and 26 years old. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
They scared him. That's fabulous. It's okay, Malik. Your life has changed, buddy. You're going to be all right. Oh, that's how it's done right there, man. That's how it's done.
Well, Christina, as I was doom scrolling on Instagram, as I tend to do, I saw this post from ESPN pop up, and here's the big headline. A record 50.4 million U.S. adults are expected to bet a combined $16 billion on this year's Super Bowl.
Whoa.
Just take that in for a second. $16 billion, 50 million Americans. That is a large percentage of the entire population. Now, at first I went, okay, that's crazy. But then I went, wait, aren't these the same people complaining that inflation is too high and there's not enough money at the end of the month and they're living paycheck to paycheck? And so that was my post. My reaction was, Americans, inflation is killing us. We're living paycheck to paycheck out here. Also, Americans, oh yeah, bro, I got $500 on the Chiefs. Make it make sense. That's all I'm asking. This just boggles my mind that people are willing to spend their hard-earned money and just throw it away at a sports casino for fun. So here's the juxtaposition. Yahoo Finance said that half of Americans say their personal financial situations are worse now than they were a year ago, which is more than any time since the Great Depression. And Fox Business said amid high inflation and rising interest rates, credit card balances have now increased to $931 billion in the final quarter of 2022. This is insane. The number of new credit cards opened have spiked $21.6 million in the third quarter. I mean, the levels of debt with the levels of sports betting tell me that bad things are happening out there.
Yeah, that's very concerning. It makes me wonder, is it kind of like the lipstick for men? You know how like what they say whenever there's a recession, like women buy more lipstick?
Is
Do
that a
men like
thing?
sports bet more?
I guess that's what they do to quell all of the anxiety, is they just turn to sports, and then they go, well, my friends are betting. It's now normal to bet on sports. There's 1,000 apps. And yeah, okay, let's see if Mahomes gets the touchdown in the third quarter. It just doesn't make sense.
That's wild. I thought it was more of a niche. I thought it was like, sports betting, there's probably
It
2 or
used to be.
3% of people, but
Now
50 million people?
Every year, it's become legal in more and more states. I think it's like 33 states now allow sports betting. And here's the thing. They are seeing record profits. It's like the new crypto, because it feels not as dumb as crypto because it's something that you enjoy, that you know a lot about. But these bookies that are behind the scenes, they are going to win. The house always wins. This is just like Vegas, except you get to do this from the comfort of your freaking couch.
And it's wild, too, because we've seen so many studies and stats on kids and teenagers getting into this, where it's like young kids, I don't think they're really supposed to, but it's becoming a huge thing in high schools where we're worried about kids doing sports betting, which that just blows my mind.
Well, and the bankroll you need to even make any amount of money in this is insane. You would need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to see any meaningful return. But what happens is you throw $50, you lose it. You put another $50 in, you might win it back. And so there's an addiction happening, especially with these young people. It's like the gateway drug to gambling addiction. And here's what's crazy. The number of expected Super Bowl bettors is up 61% from last year's survey. And our state of personal finance study found that in the last 3 months, 14% of people said they had placed a legal sports bet. It begs the question, how many placed illegal sports bets? We just don't know. No one's going to admit that. But 36% said they lost money in 2022 sports betting, and that's equivalent to 5% of the population having lost money on this.
George, what would you say? That just hurts my head a little bit, thinking through all the people who are struggling with their finances and all the people who feel like they're drowning in credit card debt, but they're still betting. What would you say to snap people out of that?
Well, number one, if you are really truly struggling. Now, I'm hoping and praying that the people that are sports betting are out of debt with a fully funded emergency fund and they're investing 15%, and this is just fun money they're okay blowing. If that's you, I am happy for you. The record indicates that is not the case. And so if this is you and you're going, this is my last ditch effort, let me at least have some fun. I'm broke. Might as well at least have some fun.
YOLO.
You're only going to get broker. And so we need to stop the bleeding and go anywhere there's money leaks, we need to stop. There are better ways to be entertained and blow $50 than on the big game and on the squares. And it's just gotten out of control. And so just say no, go to the party, bring a dip. It costs you $5 and enjoy the Super Bowl that way. But do not play in this sports casino. You will lose. The house always wins. And there's a reason why Vegas is doing so well and America is so broke.
It's a good word, George.
Oh my goodness. And we've covered, sports betting on multiple areas, multiple shows. Rachel Cruz show, we did a thing on sports betting. If you want to see me in a Brady jersey, you can check that out. Hopefully he's retired for the last time. We just don't know. We don't
TBD,
know.
to be determined.
Oh, well, hey, enjoy the big game, do it on a budget, and don't be stupid. Hope that hits.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
In April 4th, my lease is up in my apartment with my girlfriend, but we've been having some relationship problems ever since we moved in together. Yeah, it's always fun times.
That's what marriage is like in your first year. Nobody ever tells you that the first year of marriage is what you're experiencing. You just learn how to live together, and there's all kinds of problems.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from my dad. But I was curious about, I've been talking to my dad about moving back in with him. He would charge me $400 a month in rent. I do have medical bills coming up from a motorcycle accident that happened.
Oh, no.
And then...
You okay?
I turned out okay. Yeah,
right.
I turned out just fine.
So I got a question for
you.
The part... Quick question.
Yeah,
before we get to the money, because I think this plays into the money issue. You've been living with your girlfriend for how long?
A year.
A year.
Last year, April 4th.
A year. And you developed some real relationship. Okay, and you developed some real relationship issues now that you're living together. And so you think the solve is to stay living together but just go back to Dad's house?
We would go separate. She would go to her parents and I would go to my dad.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. Okay, that's actually Okay, I'm feeling better with that. I didn't know because you guys got to figure out your relationship issue, and living together is probably not the best way to do it, in my opinion. I know I'm old school.
Does the issue have to do with money, or is it separate?
She gets very angry at me over little things, and don't get me wrong, I'm a human. I'm not perfect. I do some things wrong too myself, and her money issues are. She's not great with her finances. I've tried to coach her a little bit based off of your guys' teachings. She just can't really pull it together since the year we've been.
Okay. But is she getting angry at you over money things and your coaching, or is she getting angry at you about other things?
Just house things. Say if I come home from work and I just kind of want to relax and do nothing, she'll start getting angry, or if I forget to do dishes sometimes, she'll get on me. Like I said, we take turns cleaning and whatnot, but
is she okay? I gotta ask. I'm so sorry. I can't help it. Is she angry, or is she just perturbed? In other words, I want you to rank it for me. Her reaction from a 1 to a 10. 1 being like maybe a little sigh where she's rolling her eyes, to angry, she's throwing something at you. Give me a ranking. What's happening?
I'll give it like a solid 5 to 7. It's no throwing. We don't ever lay hands on each other or anything like that.
Well, thankfully.
Yeah, that's why I put it at 10, throwing at you. Okay. Wow, Jade, what do you think of this? I feel like you need to get involved here.
Yeah, I wanted to know how long you were dating before you moved in together.
Oh, good question.
3 years.
3 years.
And was she angry at that time too?
No, it just really started since we moved in together.
So this is
last year, April.
This is playing into what we know, which is a lot of people. I'm stepping into the waters now, Ken. You know, a lot of people, when they move in together, the thought, Ken, is I'm just going to test it out.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I think I want to marry this person. I think I want to be with this person for the long haul. Let's test it out and see. But really, it causes people to go in the opposite direction. And there's been studies now that say that living together is you're least likely to have a successful marriage or even see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's almost like a commitment thing. It's like you don't have to dial in full commitment.
Which makes those things even more irritating.
Yeah, it's almost like a symbol of lack of commitment.
I think you're right. Stacey's stuck with me. You know?
Yeah.
Like we got paper, we got some ink, you got to pull all that apart. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas it's like, hey, I don't want to marry you. I'll live with you. It's like the ultimate signal of lack of commitment. I don't want to marry you. So I wonder if underlying, she's feeling something. It's like, I'm with this guy and she might have marriage expectations, but you're not actually married. And so you guys are feeling that tension of the reality versus what you kind of think it is in your minds.
Although I will say this, Jeremiah.
You are probably 100% on spot.
She is.
Ever since, she's big on marriage. She's always kind of mentioned that to me, but I've always been a little skeptical just because, I don't know. It's tough out there.
Well, Jeremiah, this is where the rubber meets the road as it relates to my advice.
It's true.
You need to understand, young man, that if you put a ring on her finger and you marry her and you come home,
it ain't no going back.
And you just jump on the couch and you don't do what she's expecting you to do as it relates to your house stuff, she's going to still be angry. So we've got to figure out relationally, what is your part in this deal? And where do you need to step up? And then now listen to me, Jeremiah, if you step up, does she chill out? And so I'm gonna make a ruling here.
Yeah, make a ruling.
The starting question was, should we renew the lease? The answer is no. I think you need to go your separate ways for 6 months, and let's figure you two out. And you, young man, need to start with, do you want to marry this young lady?
And the answer doesn't have to be yes.
And if it's not, fine. But you owe that to her because she's made it clear she wants to get married. You're just kind of kicking the can down the road.
Yes.
I think I'd start there. Let's separate. Let's live apart. I'm not saying break up.
See, things get better. Yeah.
I'm not saying break up, but let's not live together. And let's see where we want to go. We're on Team Jeremiah because you called. But I'll be honest with you, if she called, I'd have been on her team.
And
so, you know.
when you separate your living situation, like we said, you're still dating, then take that time to start figuring out what it would look like if if you're there, I don't know if you are, but if you are there, if we were to be married, what would it look like? What do we see for each other? What are gender roles? What do you think a man's role is? What do you think a woman's role is? Like, you guys talk about that stuff, because you did get a little glimpse of, you thought you could come home and pop open a beer and watch the game, and she said, no, there's dishes in the kitchen. So you guys have to talk about that and arrive at what that means for both of you. And of course, if you do get married, go through marriage counseling and go through Financial Peace University.
Yeah, I agree.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. So, Fox News article, some of you have seen it and been sending it to me on Twitter. Couple sells all possessions for sailboat, sinks 2 days into trip. A Colorado couple who dreamed of a life sailing around the world had the wind taken out of their sails when their boat capsized nearly 2 days into their trip. A couple's plan for a better life has been sunk. Ba-boom. Okay, Nikki Walsh, 24, and her boyfriend, Tanner Broadwell, 26, decided nearly a year ago that they were tired of working. How can we live our lives when we work most of the day and you have to pay so much of it just to live? Walsh said, who booked timeshare tours for a living. Most of the work you do just goes to your home. There has to be another option, she added. So the Colorado couple sold all their furniture and their SUV and purchased a 49-year-old boat in Alabama to live on and eventually sail the world in. The couple moved on to the 28-foot boat, which was in the marina of Tarpon Springs, a town of Florida's Gulf Coast. Lived there for months with their 2-year-old pug, Remy, while they stocked up on food and supplies. The couple had planned their trip for a year, both quitting their jobs and selling all their worldly possessions in Colorado before moving out to Florida to live on their 28-foot boat. We were pretty prepared, Walsh said, of gathering items to last them for their planned trip to the Caribbean. However, the two were not prepared for what happened next. Nearly 2 days into their venture, the couple's boat capsized in a channel of water called John's Pass. We thought the channel was where we were going, but it wasn't. Walsh told the Post, telling the publication they were armed with a GPS and paper navigation charts. Local boat captains say the sandbars often shift in John's Pass. We started freaking out because waves were coming. Well, you were on the ocean. And it was tossing our boat back and forth. You wanted to sail the world. Broadwell was near the rear of the boat, holding on to Remy when the trouble hit. My hands were shaking. We were terrified. Before abandoning ship, Walsh said they grabbed some clothes and important documents as well as things for their dog. I also grabbed Remy's food, just about everything he needed, said Walsh. He doesn't deserve to go without his favorite toys. Walsh admitted she and her boyfriend, who used to drive for Uber, were new to sailing. Yeah, I think. Once the boat flipped, the couple lost all their material possessions. I shouldn't be laughing. This is a sad story. The pair said they have $90 and no jobs and no boat insurance. What? I thought you were prepared. However, the couple, who has been left with just $90 in cash, no jobs, no boat insurance, say they're still hopeful for their world sailing plans because they've started a GoFundMe, begging people to help them not give up on their dreams, in quotes. The pair is seeking $10,000 to rescue the ship. This is not a ship, boys and girls. It's a boat. It's 28 feet long. It's in 4 foot of water. Sunk off the coast of Madeira Beach, Florida. Said raising the boat alone will cost $6,700. We've got a lot of family helping us, but it's hard when you've lost everything. You only have one life. Why not spend it doing what you love? Why spend it doing what you don't love? Money isn't everything, he told the Post. Yeah. Money isn't everything. Why is the GoFundMe there? Apparently money is something you need. What I'm having trouble with is they're 24 and 26, and they were tired of working. They were tired of working. I mean, if you were 44 and 46, or 54 and 56, or 64 and 66, but you're 24. You haven't been working long enough to be tired of working. It's impossible. But money isn't everything. Boat insurance is, but that costs money, but money isn't everything. Yeah. So, this is so hard to not be harsh. I just want to be funny instead of being harsh. But it's so sad. Because I got to tell you, I've done so many stupid things in my life, and the list of stupid things in this story is so long. And every time I do something stupid, you know what it does? It brings me pain and costs me money. And that's what happened to these guys. So my prayer for them is that no one gives them a dime for their GoFundMe account. Because these two really just don't like to work much. They're not very responsible. When we get off the boat, the main thing we do is we save the pug's toys. Because the pug doesn't deserve to be with you people. You're irresponsible. Pugs are great. I like pugs. He doesn't deserve to go without his favorite toys. This is what's occurring to her as her boat is sinking without insurance. The pug toys. Somebody will give money to this GoFundMe, I'm sure. Because you only have one life. Why spend it doing what you don't love? Money isn't everything. No, it's not everything, and you shouldn't spend your whole life doing what you don't love, but unless, like, your goal is to not work, ever. And have other people give you money so you can sail around the Caribbean and call that fulfillment. That's not going to work out for you. I can't imagine having a 24-year-old daughter and coming in and telling me, "Hey, Dad, my boyfriend and I are going to the Caribbean. We have no clue what we're going to do. And we think we're prepared and we just don't want to work much." It would just break my heart. Because here's what's going to happen. These people are it's going to take them a decade to recognize that they're going to have to work. Work is not a bad thing. Work gives you dignity. Work is where money comes from, not GoFundMe. And, and if you call yourself prepared, but you have no idea how to sail, and yet you're sailing, and you forgot to buy insurance on your boat, or just chose not to, you're what we call sunk. Right? I mean, really? Oh, gosh. So I hope they, yeah. The problem is your dreams become your nightmares when you don't know how to live life like an adult. That's the problem. And adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. These are a couple of children. And I'm not making fun of them. I'm not picking on them. It's just sad. And what's sad is it's actually a news story, and I'm so stupid I actually read it. So, and then took a whole segment of the show on it. But, the point is that sometimes I'm poor. Sometimes I struggle with money because of my stupidity. Sometimes I struggle with money because of my lack of character. Sometimes I struggle with money because other people take advantage of me. Sometimes I struggle with money because of the situation I was born into, and I haven't learned to rise above that particular situation yet. So there's legitimate reasons that people are poor that are not their fault. Not these two. These two, 100% of it is their fault. And that's pretty much stupid tax on steroids right there. And I was older than them when I lost everything because I was stupid, and I lost a lot more than that, and for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, just doesn't work, folks. You're going to be doing work, and then if you're smart, once you get your bills paid, then you'll start doing work that you do love and that you do care about and that does have meaning. But you're going to be doing work. It gives you dignity. It causes your brain to work. And it causes you to be able to live your dreams rather than somebody else's nightmare. What a mess. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
So I saw this clip, Ken, and I would love
Okay.
to have a discussion. So let's play this Instagram reel.
In 16 years, your daughter will not be able to buy a house. It will not be affordable for her to buy a house unless you help her. I would argue that it is a better business decision. It is a better financial decision for you to buy a house for her. It's an investment property. It's a rental property. All of the money that comes from that goes into an account, and that is her college, number one. And number two, that house is being paid for by somebody else. So then when she is 22 years old, graduated from college, you can say, here, sweetheart, here is the home that you will never, ever have been able to afford if I had not bought it for you 16 years ago. And I'm telling you right now, that is the best financial decision. Rather than going to 529, whatever that thing is, college fund, that is complete and total bull.
I agree with that.
I'm telling you right now, going ahead and buying a house as an investment, that is the best thing that you can do for your children.
And I'm not selling anything I own because...
No, I wish I'd kept everything I ever bought.
Yeah. Wow, a lot there.
Fascinating.
Boy, she was a bit of a machine gun there.
She knew what she wanted to
All right,
get out
things.
to the world.
Myth number one, first thing she said that's incorrect, and it's just absolute emotional hyperbole, is that your daughter won't be able to buy a house. It won't be affordable.
Oh, yeah, she won't be able to on her own.
That's fear-mongering, and
Yes.
that's kind of playing into this whole, upper class versus lower class. It's a little bit of middle-class warfare because she's making a point. But that's exaggerated, and it's not true. Secondly, what she's prescribing there is most likely... I don't have any other context. Do you know this person?
Nope.
I don't have any other context, but she's probably saying take on debt. So let's say an American family's got a bunch of debt, and then they were to take what she were to say as gospel truth. Now they're going to go get a second mortgage, and under the guise of, well, this is really, really smart. So it's incomplete advice. So there's two things right out of the gate.
Okay, so number one, yes, I'm with you on the fear thing. I'm like, no, that's just not. I mean, I just am not.
Yeah.
I don't agree. Number two, yes, getting on that second mortgage where I'm like, man. Now, if you were to pay cash for it, that's a different discussion. But people think in the real estate.
Most people wouldn't be able to.
And yeah, but people think with real estate, they're like, oh yeah, it's you just buy it and someone else will pay the mortgage and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's a part-time job when you have other properties,
and risky.
Because what if you don't have anyone to fill it, and then who's going to pay the mortgage? So.
Third thing, the 529 is a wonderful investment vehicle. She makes it out like it's some sort of piece of crap, and they're both like, oh, yeah, no, 529, that's so stupid. Well, if it's not, that's not right. 529 is a wonderful investment vehicle, and it can be used multiple ways. So, again, the poo-pooing what's normal and the fear-mongering here, this is incomplete. However, all right, those are three things I didn't like.
Okay. Give me what you did like, Kenneth.
Here's the caveat. All right. The caveat is if you have no debt, all right, you have no debt the Ramsey way, and you can put a sizable down payment on a home, a future home, and in the context of what she's saying for your child, versus fund their college. I don't think that's foolish. And I only say that to say you have to be financially responsible. Like, this is not stressing you out financially. You can put a huge down payment on it. So you're going, the amount of money I would put towards their college is more than a 20% down payment. And we have no other debt. Therefore, this is not stressing us out. In that situation, it is a very interesting idea because college has increasingly got more expensive and less relevant. And that is true.
Yes.
So you're giving your kids some options to where they could cash flow their way through college.
With the rent is what she's saying.
That's right. Well, or no, they work. And so you've now given them this long-term investment. You've gifted them this long-term investment. It's interesting. I'm not recommending it or endorsing it.
Right.
But I at least want to be an equal opportunity commenter.
To see both sides.
If you have the financial wherewithal and you're not going into any kind of risk and you're not assuming a very large amount of debt.
Right.
It's not a horrible idea, but the way they set it up is an incomplete narrative.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. That's fair. Because too, I'm like, when you transfer an asset like a house,
there's a lot of things you were talking about this earlier.
To a child, I'm like, yeah, you got it. There's like there could be tax implications if you're not careful. All this and the rental income that you make is taxable.
Can't guarantee that.
Like it's just all of this, and I'm like, man, I don't know. It's just. I don't know why. I'm like, it feels like get an UPMA or something. Like start investing in.
This is the nature of social media. People like this can sway people with an incomplete narrative. And what you need to understand is that you're assuming risk, and you can't guarantee that you're going to have renters all the time. There's a lot of things that are at play, versus the 529 can be used in a variety of ways towards qualifying them. So if they don't go to traditional college, they could still use the 529 for a trade school, which now is like,
and can be passed to different children and all that. So what? Yeah. But college it is a fascinating topic right now, because there's a part of me though that I still am like, that transition from 18 to 21, still having a level of responsibility, still learning and growing, like that. That is a.
I want to challenge you on
I know, but listen, like that still. There is pros to that.
There are.
But my question is, my is like, what is college going to look like in 15 years?
Very
and I am
different.
putting money in a 529.
Very different.
So what is it going to look like?
Well, I don't think
that makes
you're
me
gonna
a little nervous too.
Yeah, I get that. Hey, I got to tell you this. Yesterday, Entre Leadership Master Series happening downtown Nashville. I took a question from a business owner that operate big like backhoes and big giant tractors and things like that on construction sites. They're hiring kids straight out of high school to operate these big machines.
How
and
much?
The kids are loving it. They're making as much as $55,000, $60,000.
That's pretty awesome.
Right out of high school.
Good.
Alexander is in Philadelphia. Hi, Alexander. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate your time.
Sure. What's up?
So I want to buy a garage ornament, and I want to be on the smart side of the spectrum and have a conversation with you before I end up on the stupid side of the spectrum.
Okay. How expensive a car?
All said and done, everything, it's about $130,000.
Cool. What do you make?
Take home with me and my wife, it's about $14,000 a month with net.
So 150 grand?
I don't. Whatever the net is, I don't know.
Probably close to 200. Yeah. Okay. All right.
As far as debt is concerned, well, why don't you ask the question?
That's okay. How much debt do you have?
Here.
That's good. That's okay. How much debt?
$150,000.
On what?
My house.
Okay. And what's your nest egg? How much money you got?
I got about $800,000 in retirement. I got about $430,000, in liquid assets, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I have two sons, and I have about $90,000 in each of their 529 plans.
Okay. So the rule of thumb I use on toys, which you're at the level of toy on this.
Yeah.
And I've got some toys. So the rule of thumb I use and that I teach.
I'm sorry, I'm a guy. It's in my DNA.
That's okay, man.
I don't have a car payment. I have a Subaru. Like I had enough.
You're going to pay cash for this car, right?
I'm going to do what you tell me. I mean, if you say no,
okay.
no.
If you're not going to pay cash for it, don't do it. Number one rule. Okay. Number two rule is cars go down in value. Things with motors and things with wheels. Cars, boats, Sea-Doos, their sisters. I've got a bunch of things that go wooden, and I like stuff like that, but they all lose value. And so we don't want to have a general rule of thumb is you're a millionaire, okay, a little over $1 million net worth, if I understood the numbers correctly, and it sounds like you make a couple of hundred a year. The trick is we use a rule of thumb that says don't buy things with cars with motors and wheels all total, including your other car, your Subaru, other stuff like that, that equal more than half your annual income because they go down, and we want to have small amounts of things going down in our life. Now, you've got an unusually high net worth. You're paying cash for this. You're probably going to violate that 50% when you buy it. Okay? Matter of fact, we know you are because you make about $200 a year, and you're going to spend $130 just on this one car, and your other cars on top of that are going to put you over that. Normally, I would say that's a no-go. It kind of makes me question it here a little bit.
What's your question?
Well, I mean, I just don't want to put too much in things that go down in value, and I'm trying to look at the ratios of your net worth.
It is like, not to, it is a Nissan GTR. I don't know if you know anything about Nissan GTRs, but they're very, very, very hard to find.
Yeah, they are.
And if you go on Auto Trader or something like that right now, they're astronomically priced, even in the used market.
Likelihood.
And even if you're lucky to find a new one.
The new Raptor just came out, 700 horsepower. They're running about 120. Okay, but they're not going to go up in value.
I understand.
Even though they're much like your Nissan that you're talking about. I've looked at that car. It's a very sweet car. And so, you can do it, but what you've got to realize is you've put a little bit more into a depreciating asset. Because 10 years from now, let's face it, that thing's not gone up in value.
No.
I mean, I've got a 1960 Corvette that's frame-up restoration that is fabulous, and I've had it for probably 10 years. I don't think it's gone up a dime in value. I don't think it's gone down any, but it might have gone up a little bit. But the classic cars, some of them like that, some of them will go up a little, or a super, super rare item, that you can't get, like stuff that's running off the auto auction, that kind of stuff, the rare car auctions. Sometimes those will go up in value, but I don't think your Nissan's going to qualify, and I don't think that Raptor is going to qualify for that. So anyway, all that to say, the way I'm not going to tell you what to do. The way I make decisions is, am I putting too much of my asset base in things that are going down rather than up? And normally our guideline is A, pay cash, B, don't have total of more than 50% of your household income in there. Now, an exception to that would be, let's say you called in, you had $8 million in mutual funds, and your household income was $100,000. Well, we wouldn't hold to that 50% of the $100,000, right?
I see what you're saying.
Because you could afford to buy the thing for $130 if you had $8 million and drive it off a cliff tomorrow, and you wouldn't even notice financially.
Right.
That's the point. So you're right on that. You don't have $8 million, but you got $1.5 million. Probably we didn't talk about your house equity, but you're right on that, and you're doing great. So you're not going to go bankrupt because of this. But I wouldn't go buy another one.
Alex.
No, this is it for me. I mean, I don't drive a fancy car.
You're about to.
Not really like that, but I just I've always liked this car for the last however many years it's been out.
It's a sweet vehicle.
I just don't want to. I think I respect everything that you say. You obviously are in the man of position for a reason. So I just didn't want to. Well,
you see, like you get the principles I'm using.
Yeah, I understand. I completely understand what you're saying.
And so, based on those principles, you're on the bubble. You wouldn't be on the dumb side. If your net worth was $500,000, I'd say don't do it. Okay.
Yeah, my house is worth a pretty good amount of money too, and I don't owe that much on the house. Like I said, I only owe $150 on the house.
What's it worth?
So, I just had my real estate agent look at it. He said $1.6 million, $1.7 million.
Okay, so your net worth $3 million.
So
yeah, okay.
I feel like that moves the needle.
That does move the needle. That moves it in your favor. See, you see what I'm talking about here? That's the whole thing.
Right, I just don't.
We can rationalize our butts off, and I appreciate you calling. I appreciate the spirit. You're being humble about it. You're not being smart aleck. You're not being sarcastic. You really did want to know.
That house threw it over the edge, in my book.
You're okay then?
Yeah, okay. I'm good. I'm sleeping good tonight, Alexander, if you buy this car, and I'm happy for you.
And she's the one that just yelled at all of America about car payments. So just keep in mind that's
Get you that $130,000 car. He's got over $2 million in net worth.
Three.
Yeah. No, definitely get it. And get me one too. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there you go. That is a sweet vehicle. Y'all look it up if you hadn't looked it up. Oh, man. All right. That's the thing. And these numbers do change. Here's an example. Okay. Everybody says, okay, what percentage of my income should I spend on food? Mm-hmm. Well, if we give you a percentage that's true for people that make $100,000, what if somebody made $1 million?
That's right.
They don't need to spend that much on food because they'd be large.
And in charge.
Okay. I mean, so these things skew out if you have a very low income. You're, very poor. Okay. You're just barely getting started. You have to spend a larger percentage of your income on food.
That's right.
So, to just meet necessities. So these things skew out. The principles that we give you skew out based on net worth, based on income being at extremes. And a $3 million net worth is an extreme in America today. The guy's very successful. Way to go, Alexander.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
The thing is, you just got to get these principles down. Quit buying $50,000 cars when you make $50,000 and you got no money.
Right.
That's just straight up stupid. That's the point of these principles. And he's not even in that in that same book, much less the same chapter or the same page.
Well, that's the point. Dave, we yell at people a lot for doing dumb stuff, but we're equally happy for the people who have worked hard. They've got the money. Then, yes, spend your money. Money is fun to spend. It's fun to give, save, and spend.
It's fun to enjoy.
It's fun to enjoy.
That's
and
what
I think people think that we have forgotten that, but we have not forgotten that.
No.
It is fun to spend.
Dan is in Lima, Ohio. Hi, Dan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks, Dave, for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Appreciate it. Well, I recently had knee surgery, both total knees. So, and as I'm going to physical therapy, that happened December 2nd. As I'm going to physical therapy, they're telling me I can no longer kneel and I can no longer climb. And I am a carpenter, and that's what I do. So it's like, okay, I have to do something different. I do have options. I can go ahead and retire. I have to take a penalty, and I would draw approximately $3,118 a month until the day I die. So that's not a bad option, but it's like I want to make sure I do the right option. If I would make it until 62, I'd draw almost $3,800 a month.
How old are you?
I'll be 58 in January.
You're a union carpenter, I take it?
Yes, union carpenter, yes.
Okay.
So the rant and rave about college and everything else like that, for you people that ain't smart, a union trade is a great thing. Pipe fitter, boilermaker, carpenter, it's all a great thing.
Yeah. What do you make a year back when you were still swinging a hammer?
I make about 65 a year, 60.
Okay. Good for you.
Depends on how much overtime I work, which is usually a lot.
Do you have any other savings?
Yes, I also had the carpenter union comes with also an annuity, and I've got like $34,000 in that, and I've pulled that out of the carpenters union and put it in Edward Jones in stocks. But as you can see, the last year the stock market has not been friendly to my investments there. So I would like to know more about switching it to a mutual fund of some sort that will still do decent through a year like this year.
Well, I mean, you would be selling something that's down and buying something that's down, so it's as good a time to do it as any, as far as that switching that over goes. Okay, so you're not going to be a carpenter anymore, and you're going to be making $3,100, right?
Right.
So what are you going to do now?
Well, and that's the thing. I could go do something else for a couple of years, and I'd like to because I would like to pay off my mortgage.
Well, I mean, you're young. You got a lot of things you could do. You just not be a carpenter. You could be something else. And this is what we call an encore career. It's the second act.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're 58. Yeah. You still have lots of time. Even just in general, I think we had this conversation a few weeks ago where it's nice to keep your brain active and moving and doing things. Even if it's not the career you've known for so many years, just to have that stimulation versus... I
bet you on those super, super cold days or those super, super hot days, you had something pop into your head you'd like to do someday.
I messed my shoulder. I got another story. I messed my shoulder up in 13. So I went back, got fixed, tore off my rotator, tore off my labia, tore off my biceps. So... I get it fixed. I go back to work. A year later, same pains, So go see the doctor. Doctor says, you need to do something different. You're a carpenter and it's tearing your shoulder up. So I started my own business. I started a Matco tool franchise, and I did that for like 5 years. And I had a son-in-law that moved back from Florida, and I was like, come along with me, give this a try. And he did awesome at it. So I set him up in that business, and I went back being a carpenter. So, and then recently, my knees, I knew they were bad, and then you go get them MRI.
So if you can do a Mac tool business, you can do another business, right?
Yeah. But
so I'm telling you, those days that you were laid up in the hospital or those days that it was too hot to be outside or too cold to be outside and you were out there anyway, you were thinking, someday I'm going to go do blank, 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 and you ought to go do that now. That's all I'm saying. You're not a carpenter anymore. Your doc told you, you're done.
Do you think you should go ahead and take the early penalty and get the 3118 or wait on that? Like do another career that fully funds his life?
I mean, yeah, if you can just eat. If you can make enough to live and not take it now and take it at 65, that's fine. That's going to be a lot better deal for him. Or take it now and still go get money. Right?
Well,
Either one's okay.
Yeah, if you do take it now, you could still get a job that's a little bit more of a passion project. Like if you want to go, not volunteer, but work in a nonprofit or something like that. I guess that's the case.
No, I want him to go make some money.
So get a real,
he ran a business making money with a tool business before.
So best case scenario, he waits till 62, don't touch that, and then let it get to where it's 3,800.
Either one's fine, but if he takes it now, it does take the pressure off trying to make the other thing happen immediately because you got money to eat with.
Yeah,
so I'm probably going to take it now just for that reason, but I'm still going to say, go start another thing, man.
Yeah, you've done it before.
You're not going to kick your feet up on $3,000 a month. You're not done at that, so you need some more than that. So.
Well, and even just beyond the money, you told the story recently about your fishing friend who took off for a while, then he got fat, and then went back to work.
Yeah,
and he didn't enjoy it. A lot of people, they get all that time back, and then they're like, wait a minute, I want to do something. I'm excited to do something. I want to get out of the house.
Yep, that's exactly right. So there's a benefit of that, and I just think, all I'm saying is you've been through all this pain physically, and now you don't really have the option of doing this anymore. So the only question is whether you take the retirement now or you wait and take it later. Doesn't really matter. Either one's going to be fine, but neither case is enough. So you're going to you need to go create some income doing something else. That's the important part of this particular discussion. By the way, folks, it is good to stop and recognize this, okay? Buford did a book called Halftime, and he said that men in particular, the data tells us, spend the first half of their life in acquisition and the second half of their life seeking significance. Women too, but the study he did was on men, and the research that he had was on that. And if you don't reach for significance in that second half, you tend to get off the rails and get into drugs or run off with a secretary in a red convertible or whatever, that kind of stuff, right? So guys, you need to aim at something in the second half. Now, sometimes your second half starts at 30. Sometimes it starts at 58. What's your second half? It's not an age thing. There's an arc to your career, an arc to what you're doing. And the first half of it is acquisition. The second half is significance. The important part of that conversation is the other piece of data that's out there that we do know is that your highest, the typical person, your highest income potential decade is the decade of your 50s, 50 to 60, because that's the point in your life that all of your experience in your career field is now valuable. And before then, you've been gathering that experience by making mistakes. Now all of those mistakes are called experience, and you really know things that you just didn't know before. It puts you in a sweet spot to go really cha-ching. And so that's why this encore career thing comes up is very, very, very important. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
All right, today's question comes from Lucas in Kentucky. He says, I'm 18 years old and earn $42,000 a year. I got into an accident this week and totaled my Camaro. I'm expecting the insurance settlement will be about $10,000 and I still owe $6,300. The problem is I want a new car. Don't we all? I'm into muscle cars, aren't we all? And found a 2023 Mustang for about $46,000.
I bet you did.
Yeah, I know it's a lot, but I can get a loan at 7% interest in 84 months with payments of $650 a month. My parents said it's too much, thank you parents, for what I'm making and for being so young. I'd like a second opinion from you. Listen, we'll give you a second opinion, a third, fourth, and fifth, because I'm sure the booth guys probably agree with us.
Jade might give you more than an opinion. It might be a whooping by the end of this one. This is not a good situation.
There's nothing I would love more than to put a whooping on Lucas, but he's 18 and, he needs a little...
Did they stop teaching basic math in school? Did we just skip to the Pythagorean theorem and calculus? Because
in many cases, yes.
Making $42,000 and you're going to buy a depreciating asset that's worth $46,000.
He doesn't see it that way, though. He sees it as, I'm making $42K, I live at home, I have no bills, the world is my oyster, and I can easily make a $650 payment. That's what he sees. And so I get it, but
I love that
he's for an opinion. And
he's like, the problem is, I want a new car.
We all want a new car. And even we all love muscle cars. Like, nobody looks at a Camaro and goes, I hate that.
I prefer my cars flabby without muscle.
That's right. If you win the Price is Right and you're offered a 2023 Camaro, everybody's going to be happy with that. So
here's the confusing part, though. He says, I know it's a lot, but I can get a loan at 7% interest for 84 months, and the payments will be $650. As though this is some kind of opportunity for stupid. I actually did the math for him, Jade.
What is it?
He'd be paying, get this, over $12,000 in interest alone.
He didn't think about that.
So this $46,000 car, you're really buying a $58,000 car.
Oh, my word.
Making 42.
Word.
And by the way, once you pay it off, it ain't worth close to 58. It's probably worth 25.
That's a good fact.
Because new cars, on average, lose 60% of their value in the first 5 years.
That's right.
Goodness. And he's going to sign on to an 84-month... You know what's funny? These car dealerships are so smart, Jade. They talk about loans like they're babies. It's like, how old's your baby? She's 84 months old. Mm-hmm. Just say it's a 7-year car loan, because that makes you think twice.
Yeah.
In terms of months, for 84 months.
Yeah,
a month is only 30 days, Jade. This will fly by.
I think he thought he's parlaying this settlement into a great opportunity. He's like, listen, I'm getting $10,000.
He owes
I only owe
$6,300.
It sounds like after he applies the way I read it was he's getting $10,000, he owes $63,000, so he'll come away with $400 or what $4,000 or whatever. Yeah, that he can use as his down payment on this car is what I'm thinking. I don't think it's that he'll owe $6,300 after the fact, but even still,
oh my
no matter how you slice this,
it's stupid.
It's stupid, and I get. So many people think, oh, I got in an accident, I'll just replace it with a brand new car. And, for what I've been through, I should be able to get what I want, and that's not it. If you've got $3,700 or $4,000, just buy a car in cash and slowly trade up. Think of this as an opportunity to not go into debt again. Because I'm guessing the Camaro that you had before, clearly you had payments on it because, there you have it.
He owes money.
So let's look at this, Lucas, as an opportunity to kind of break that debt cycle and see what life is like without a car payment. Think about all the things you could do. My guess, like I said before, is you're living at home. Think how quickly you could save for the car that you want, making $42,000 a year.
At 18, that's
instead
amazing.
Of trying to level jump.
I wish I was making 42 at 18.
Yeah.
This kid's very smart in a lot of ways.
He is very smart in a lot of ways, but you have to be ultimately smart that you don't kind of go, get too big for your britches and think, listen, I'm doing good for myself. I can just jump into debt, because debt it's interesting. When I was that age, I remember thinking people who had let me be real. I thought people who leased cars were like ballin'. Wanna be a baller. That's what I thought. I'm like, if you're leasing a car, if you've got a credit card and you've got like a $15,000 limit, I thought that that's what you were supposed to aspire to. And I learned the hard way that all that is a facade, and what's behind it is stress, anxiety, payments,
and
the inability to get ahead.
I guarantee their Instagram bio says entrepreneur. And I'm like, okay, you're unemployed and you live with your parents, bro. Like, let's not pretend.
Right.
Like that you owning a vending machine is you being an entrepreneur. Okay?
I mean...
Goodness gracious. Y'all,
George, you sound
out.
like you're talking about somebody specific.
I swear, some days I wonder, like, am I a boomer that accidentally was put into a millennial body?
A little bit, but that's okay. I'm right there with you.
Days. Anyways,
Get
Lucas.
off my lawn.
Don't do this, please. Don't do this. You make $42K a year, save up and pay cash, get you a little hoopty until you can upgrade in cash.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Uphill both ways. That's
Good
what
job,
I did.
George. Good job.
It wasn't long ago I was driving a $6,000 old Civic, bumper half hanging off, and I was proud of that thing.
That's good. You paid cash
I
for it.
had goals.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.
So today's question comes from Trevor in Idaho. I'm looking for advice on transitioning between baby steps 2 and 3. We will be debt-free soon after a 27-month journey. My wife wants to celebrate with a vacation. I get that. that would cost around $2,500. However, I want to continue ASAP on our emergency fund. Should I get on board with delaying the emergency fund for a small vacation? Great question, Trevor. So, the rule of thumb is between baby steps 1 and 3, you're all in. Because if you go on vacation and you only have $1,000 in your emergency fund and something happens, you're kind of screwed. So the idea, maybe you just do the emergency fund up to 2 months,
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Yeah.
Before the vacation.
Here's the thing, man. You are yelling. You are yelling into the universe. Please kick my butt. When you do this, when you go on a vacation and you don't have an emergency fund, you're asking for something to break. You're inviting trouble into your home. And it's just the way it works. I mean, the funniest thing is when you get an emergency fund, you virtually quit having emergencies. It's the weirdest thing. It's like it's Murphy repellent. And so you don't want to do this, man. I mean, your transmission's going to go out if you do this. It's not. You don't want to do it.
It's not worth it. So
it's not.
Yeah.
I get it. I whine too. I want to do that and I can't get that done. And we all whine. We all have a whiner inside of us. And your wife is just whining a little bit, and I don't blame her. I understand. Y'all been busting it for 27 months, so now you're going to have to bust it for 32 months, and then you're going to go on vacation. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go. I would be scared. 30 years of doing this, I can just tell you, it's a weird statistical thing I have observed that you are asking for it.
And I always think too, Trevor, what are the things that you guys can do to alleviate some of the we've just been busting it. So maybe it's like, hey, once because you've paid off debts. So maybe it's like once you hit that 1 month emergency into the 3 months, go on like 2 great date nights, kind of scratch the itch without having to just do a vacation.
I would, if you want to spend $300 on a dinner, I'd do that. Right. Maybe I really wouldn't do that, but I'd do that before I'd go on vacation.
Yes.
If you've got to do something to blow the pressure off, if you got to satisfy the whiner inside of you, and again, I'm admitting I have one too, okay, so it's not me yelling at you, but if you kind of got to go, okay, all right, we're going to do a little dinner here, and then we're going to be back game on, and then we're never going to have to be this way again.
Right.
The beautiful thing about finishing baby step 3 is you should never have to deal with it again unless you have a major emergency and have to recoup your emergency fund, but by the time that actually happens, you're going to have money, so you're going to be all right.
Yep.
But this is like forever and ever, we are done. Don't go back in debt. Don't ever be without an emergency fund. It changes everything. It gives you the bandwidth and everything. So I get it, but I think if we can just talk about this out loud as a couple and go, yeah, we're both tired and we're both whiny, and we both want to do it, but really, this is time to put your big girl pants on, big boy pants on, and suck it up, buttercup. Finish it up, man.
And there's still the momentum, right? So once you're debt free,
just keep plowing, man.
What was going out to payments, just keeping that momentum of all that cash just piling into that emergency fund. But it's hard. Baby step 3, I talk to a lot of people, and it's the hardest. It's one of the hardest steps.
Because it's so boring.
Well, it's
just boring. Paying off debt, there's some excitement. It's like, gotcha, you're dad.
Right.
But the other's just like, get a little money, get a little more money. It's just kind of boring.
It is, totally. It's hard.
And it's anticlimactic after doing your debt-free scream,
Yep.
And it's just, I get it, but dude, it's grown-up work. It's just adult stuff. We have to do it. And baby steps 1 through 3, until you have that done, you got to be game on. Rachel's right. So, but we're trying to say we understand, but that doesn't mean I would do it. Understanding, feeling the pain with you doesn't mean I would,
put yourself in a bad position.
Make yourself vulnerable like that, because you're just asking for your stupid tire to blow out, and then the second tire to blow out. You got one spare, but then the other one, and now you're on the side of the road, and now vacation looks like a dadgum movie scene or something. It's a country song. It's awful, and that's what ends up happening. So. It's just interesting to me that when I was broke, stone cold broke, no money, which is kind of where you are right now. You're debt free, but you're broke. Is when everything bad happens. But as soon as you start not being broke, it's like the bad stuff goes next door to the other neighbor. It's like not all of it, but a bunch of it does. Mm-hmm. So it's just
turns a crisis into an inconvenience. That's what you always say about the emergency fund, which is true. When you have the money, it just kind of becomes like an eye roll versus it takes out your whole world.
She asks, would it be possible to use a student loan to repair my car? My car is paid off. I bought it cash, but it has major engine problems, and I was told by the mechanic it would cost nearly $3,000 to $4,000 to fix it with another engine. I will need a way to get to school and eventually work very soon. So, will taking out a federal student loan suffice? I do understand that you can use student loans for vehicle operation and maintenance since it falls under the transportation category. I just don't know what to do.
Oof. George.
This is a dicey one. So technically, when you take a student loan out, they're not monitoring what you do with that student loan. It sounds like she's saying she's going to take out a new student loan in order to do this, which is one of the worst types of loans you could take out because, number one, high interest rates, and number two, you can't even discharge them.
Right.
That's really scary.
Well, and what's crazy is this is a really common thing right now because you can take out student loans for your cost of living. And I mean, that can be kind of squishy, right? Because what counts as cost of living? A vehicle repair? A lot of people end up shopping. I mean, there's a lot you can take out student loans for, sadly. And we hear all the time from people who did that. And now 10 years later, they're still paying on that loan and they are stressed out.
Yeah. And the student loan companies, they don't care about you, meaning they don't care what you do with that money because as long as they're getting that interest, they're happy.
Right.
So they're not going to sit there monitoring what you do with it.
Well, and they're preying on vulnerable people, right? Like college students
college students. That's a great example.
Right. We were all broke in college, at least most of us. And so to be able to have this pot of money where it's like, hey, do you need this? It's tempting. It's really tempting.
So I would not do the student loan. We are not going into debt for this, but here's what we can do. We can do more homework. I'm getting a second opinion from another trustworthy mechanic to actually see, is this a $3,000 repair? Now, I don't know how much money you have in the bank. I don't know. You said you're working very soon. Is there things you can sell? Do you have family that might be able to help out? Can you borrow a car? We've got to get creative. But as long as debt is off the table, then we can actually come up with some different ideas. But the solution here is not let's go take out a student loan to get back on the road.
Well, and that's the key, taking debt off the table, because it's like a lot of times when you know that there's a way out, when you know that there's an easy way out, then it's like you don't come up with that creative thinking. But if debt is not an option, you're going to find a way. Even if it's hard, even if it's not pretty, even if you have to sell something that you like, you're going to find some creative way to pay for this.
And when it comes to car repair, here's a good way to think about it. We get a lot of calls about car repairs, and you got to think about, can you recoup the cost of the repair? So if you have a $4,000 car and the repair is going to cost $3,000, but then the car only becomes worth $5,000, it's not worth it. You may just want to save up and get a different car altogether. And so we don't know how much she paid for it. We don't know what the value of the car will be as is if she fixes it up. And so there's more homework to do. You can do a lot of research online about the value of the car, KBB, Repair Pal. There's so many resources out there to figure those pieces of the puzzle out.
Well, and it's not to discount $3,000 to $4,000. That's a scary number. When you need a vehicle to get somewhere and it breaks down, that's a lot to think through coming up with quickly. But like you said, if you do have to get rid of that car, there are clunkers out there for $1,000. I mean, they may not be great. The AC may be a little bit shifty, but they're out there and they can get you from one place to another. So even if it's not a glamorous option, even if it's a challenge, just remember it's a season. And you can continue to fight and figure out, how can you pay for either the repair or a new car.
Absolutely.
Brought to you by CHM, a biblically based alternative to health insurance. Learn more at chministries.org/budget.
In 2012, my dad passed away suddenly from cancer.
I'm sorry.
And he didn't have a very concise will put together. He had, directives. When he died, he was taking care of his mother, who was suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's. 6 months after he died, she died. And that left everything that was supposed to go to kids and grandkids and cousins kind of up in the air. And then eventually everything was in my aunt's name.
How?
So, yeah. So...
How?
Now, how did it end up in her name?
Probate?
She was the...
Deciding that?
No probate. No probate. Somehow we skated by probate. Nobody was arguing about anything. My aunt happened to be the last surviving child. And it just went everything into my aunt's name because my dad's will was not in good shape. But my grandmother's was. she died after my dad, so nothing went to him. So I am in a position now to where, like, I'm the only person who has a steady job out of my siblings. And I'm trying to get my siblings and my cousins together because my aunt's husband is also dead. So it's just my aunt. And she's kind of going into a little bit of a mental decline. My siblings are okay. Everybody knows who's supposed to get what.
From the aunt?
My cousins, yeah, from the aunt. Because she's okay with everybody getting what they were supposed to get in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
The cousins, nobody's arguing about anything that they're supposed to get.
But she's not put it down in a will.
And there's no judge involved.
Correct. Okay. So what we've got, this is the biggest struggle is my aunt's two children. The only bicker is over her own personal effects that she had and her husband had. Not about the properties, nothing that anything my grandmother had. Okay. They're fighting over those things, and it's making it difficult for any of the rest of us to get a regular will set up.
Okay. Well,
what's the value of
all this
of this, if you had to guess?
Okay, so I'm going to be I'm collecting rent on 2 homes. There's no mortgages. Everything's paid for. There's no mortgages. I'm collecting rent on 2 together. They're about $375.
And those are to become yours?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If I were in your shoes, have you sat down in person and talked to your aunt and asked her to do a will?
Yes, I have.
And what did she say?
She is reluctant to go along with it unless her 2 kids agree on what is supposed to be divided that was my aunt's and her husband's.
Do either of her kids have, you said she's got mental decline, do either of them have like power of attorney, or is that on track to start at any point?
Okay. Are the two houses that you have, are they in your name or your aunt's name?
Everything's in the aunt's name.
You're going to lose those. Okay. If your aunt does not leave them to you or deed them to you prior to your death, you're going to lose them because you do not have any standing in this family anymore. She has confiscated all the assets into her name. Her assets, if there is no will go to her children. You're going to lose these houses.
And that's my struggle.
No, you are. I mean, there's not a question if you don't get this done. This is a $400,000 problem for you and your brother and your sister. So if I'm you and your brother and your sister, I'm going to grab my cousins and put them in a headlock and go, all right, you twerps, we need to get this straightened out because I'm not letting you take these houses. Y'all need to get over there with your mama and get this written down.
That's what we're struggling to do. Do you have any suggestions and how to speak to them in such a manner? Because headlocks won't work. They're a bunch of hillbillies, so
yeah.
We all are actually, but you know how that goes.
I mean, I just sit down with them and go, okay, do you think it's fair that I lose these properties because you won't sit down with your mom and get this other stuff worked out? I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
And the other thing you could do is you could go to your aunt and ask her to quit claim deed the properties to you. Okay, so if that was to occur, would there be some sort of net gain tax? Oh yeah. She'll have a gift tax on them. Well, she could actually, but she could avoid it by doing a unified estate tax planning document. But it's easier to just do a will.
Okay.
But I can, there's a thing. Write this down: unified estate tax. Okay. If the estate tax is still in place, and the GOP is currently looking at doing away with it on the federal level, but if that's still in place, you can use up some of her estate tax exemptions against her gift tax. So she would not have gift tax if she files that document. But I've got a feeling this bunch of people doesn't file documents. They just kind of make up whatever they want to do and think it works. So,
and that's how it's been.
Yeah, that's their problem, though. They have the gift tax, not you. So I'm going to go over there and say, Auntie, here's two quitclaim deeds. I need you to sign these so the properties are in my name.
Okay.
That's the easiest, cleanest thing you can do here. And your brothers and sisters do the same thing. Because I'm afraid, because otherwise this is going to go to your kids, and that's not fair. I need you to sign them right now. I'm not getting up from this table until you sign these. Because they were supposed to go to my dad, and they're supposed to go to me, and you know that. And I need you to sign these and put these properties in my name. That's a one-page document, a quit-claim deed. Go see an attorney, have that drawn up for each property, and then have a notary notarize them, and then you file them at the courthouse, and the property is then in your name. It's over. Now, she technically would be due gift tax on that, and she can avoid that within 12 months of her signing that over to you if she files under the Unified Estate Tax Credit Program. But I got a feeling this lady's not doing any of that.
Mm. She doesn't. This is a lady. She's never had a job.
Yeah, I know. I can tell.
She's raised kids. I mean, that's work too. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't mean that. She's not got any level of financial sophistication.
Not at all.
Yeah, and so
I'm like,
yeah, and so you got to roll over there, and otherwise you're going to lose $400,000. That's the problem here, folks. In America, everybody needs a will. Hello. Everybody needs a will. If you got a simple estate, go to mamabearlegalforms.com. It's very inexpensive. You can have it done by morning. If you got a complicated estate, sit down with an estate planning attorney. But everybody needs a will. It's not fair to the people. You look at what his dad and his grandmother have done to him by screwing around and not writing this stuff down. That's wrong, y'all. You need to take care of your family better than that.
CHM isn't health insurance. It's a health cost-sharing ministry. Check it out for yourself at chministries.org/budget.
Our last call before the break was a guy that was in a couple of car leases. We call them fleeces. And if you don't know what that means, that means you're not from the country. If you have a sheep and you take off its hair, it's called fleecing. And if you are to fleece someone, it means to rip someone off. It's old-fashioned terminology. So if I got fleeced, means I got ripped off. So we don't call them car leases. We call them fleeces. And Robert is on Twitter. He says, I listen to you every day. Can you discuss leasing a car as opposed to buying? Yes, I can discuss fleecing. Now, let's just set this up for a second. Let's pretend that you owned a car manufacturing company and you were going to manufacture a vehicle. And you had a car that you were going to sell for $20,000. And 4 years later, it was going to be worth 70% less. Or it was going to lose about $14,000 of its value. And so that $20,000 vehicle 4 years from now would be worth $6,000. That would be the average, by the way. A new car loses 60 to 70% of its value in the first 4 years it comes off the lot. And so instead of selling it for $20,000 and the individual that's driving it loses the $14,000, instead you're going to rent it to the individual that's driving it. And at the end of the car lease, you're going to not get a $20,000 car back. You're going to get a car back that's worth $6,000. Well, in order to keep from losing the money, you would have to rent the car monthly to that individual for more than that monthly amount of loss. And so if we just took $14,000 and we just, in our example, and we said that happened over 48 months, that would be $291.67 that the car is going to lose in value in our projection. Now, you and I, you own a car manufacturing company. And so you're going to rent a car to someone that's going to lose $291 a month in value. And so it stands to reason that you're going to rent the car to them for more than $291, right? Because you at least have to cover how much it goes down in value in the payment, in the rent payment. Does that make sense? Of course it makes sense. Then the other thing you know is that if you own a car manufacturing company, you probably also have a financing arm to your car manufacturing company. And if you were in the car manufacturing business and you had General Motors credit or Ford Motor credit or Lexus credit, you would know that you make more on the financing when someone uses your financing company and pays you interest to borrow money from you, that you make more on that than you do on the actual profit on the sale of the car. And so you also are in the finance business, the banking business, the car payment business, and you make a good profit on that. And so if you rent this car to someone, they're not going to be paying you interest. So you're going to lose out on the car payment business side of your equation. And so not only would you want to collect $291 plus a profit, you'd also want to collect interest on the $20,000 that basically they're driving around your $20,000 bill right here, right? I mean, you gave somebody $21,000 bills, and they're carrying them around for 4 years. So you'd want to charge them interest on that, wouldn't you? And so you would take the drop in value monthly. You would take a interest rate, which in the leasing business is called cost of capital, an interest rate, and you would take a profit, and you would put all of those things into what is now a new payment, and then you can go rent a new car for a lease a new car. Rent. It is renting, isn't it? So when you rent a car, when you lease a car, you are paying the loss in value monthly, you're paying the profit, and you're paying an interest rate, the cost of capital. The only thing is the interest rate's not disclosed to you because this is not technically a loan, and so the Federal Trade Commission disclosure sheets that you get on a loan are not there, because you're technically just renting. And so when you rent at Hertz, you don't have to get a disclosure on the cost of capital. And when you lease from Lexus or BMW, you don't have to get a cost of capital. So unless you're pretty good with a calculator, you really don't know what your cost of capital is. You don't know what interest rate you're paying. I'm pretty good with a calculator, though. And a lot of other people are, too, that have done research on this. And we're finding that the average car fleece out there is charging you an effective interest rate, a cost of capital, around 14%. So you're paying around 14% interest. Plus you're paying the loss in value, the depreciation, plus you're paying a profit. And if you go over on your miles, they're going to charge you more. And if there's more than normal wear and tear on the car, they're going to charge you more. Because if you bring me back a $6,000 car that's dinged up and got a bunch of miles, so it's really only worth $5,000, I'm going to charge you the other $1,000 if I'm the car manufacturer. Because my goal here is not to lose money. My goal is to make money. And so there's no possible mathematical way, unless the car manufacturer made a mistake, that leasing a car is cheaper than owning a car. By definition, it has to be more expensive, or you have a car manufacturer that's what's known as stupid. And let me tell you, those guys are a lot of things, but stupid is not on the list. Most car manufacturers these days make a really fine vehicle. I drove one of the new Fords as a rental this weekend, an Expedition, and it was an incredible car. The technology it's absolutely incredible. The new BMWs, the new Mercedes, the new Chevrolets, they're absolutely phenomenal. The new Lexus, they're phenomenal. The cars that we are putting out in America and around the world right now are absolutely incredible vehicles. They're excellent at manufacturing really good cars. I mean, compared to, I've got an old Corvette from 1979 model. They don't make them like they used to. Well, thank God. I mean, it's kind of cool, but let me tell you, compared to the new Corvette, it's a piece of crap. These are fine vehicles these manufacturers are creating. You work for a car company, you should be proud of the product you're putting out. These Nissans are really good cars. They're also very good at crunching numbers and math. And they're 100% sure they're going to make money on your butt as the consumer. So let me tell you about fleecing a car. 100% of the time, it's more expensive than owning the car. It has to be by definition. It has to be by definition. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. Thank you for joining us, America. We're so glad you are with us. Anthony is with us in Yakima, Washington. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Dave?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
So, I got a little dilemma. I'm 22 years old. I got not scammed, but I did one of those real estate seminars and ended up getting approved for credit cards and use that to pay it off. It's about $25,000 in those credit cards for that real estate training program. At the same time, same year, I opened up my own insurance agency.
You paid $25,000 for a real estate training program?
Yes, I did, Dave.
With who?
Well, it was Andrew Cordo's NARI event.
Okay. Ouch.
Yeah, okay. So I mean that's.
And so that's to train you to do. That was supposed to train you to do what?
To learn how to wholesale properties and flip and buy homes.
Okay. All right. And so you have $25,000 on your credit cards from that.
So it was $25,000 for just the real estate program. Then I had to go through Seed Capital, who financed it for me, and I had to give them another $3,000 to be able to provide me with funding for those cards. And they were supposed to be interest-free cards, and the plan was to make those pay that $25,000 off, and before the year was up. But it's been over a year, so now I'm paying interest on all those cards.
Okay. I'm curious. At any point in that process, did you not think that was high?
Yes. I thought about it the whole time, but I don't know. I said, I'm already broke. I can't get more broke, but apparently I was.
Yeah, you can. You just did. You got 25,000 more broke. Oh, yeah, my Lord. Okay, so what do you do for a living today?
I'm an insurance agent.
Okay, so you did open your insurance company.
Correct.
Okay, and are you making money?
Well, I am, but I mean, most of it goes to bills. Most of it goes to those expenses.
So you're not making much money?
No, not much money.
Yeah. How much are you making?
This year I should make about $60K.
Well, that's not too bad. That's more than I would have guessed. Okay. All right. And so
that's because I don't have a mortgage or anything. That's probably why.
Yeah. But if you make $60K and you pay your taxes, you ought to be able to pay that $25 off real fast if you don't spend any money.
Yes, but so this is my question. I've been contemplating between filing a bankruptcy.
You're not bankrupt.
Go away from those $25,000.
You're not bankrupt. Where is your $60,000 going?
Well, my staff. I have a part-time gal that works for me, and then I have to loans that are as well. We have to have my own debt.
Okay, you broke up after I heard part-time guy. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, I have a part-time gal that works for me. I have a car payment. I also have my student loans.
Mm-hmm. How much do you owe on your car?
On my car, about $17,000.
And how much do you owe on your student loan?
$10,000. Mm-hmm. And then another $20,000 in this insurance business.
What do you mean? You owe $20,000?
I acquired an agency. So I bought a small book of business.
I see. Okay. I don't know if you can afford a guy part-time working for you unless you start making more money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can afford him right now, and you probably need to sell your car and move down in car dramatically. But the only way you would file bankruptcy is if you give up your car, you give up the insurance agency, and you wipe everything clean but the student loans. It would be the only way you file bankruptcy. But I don't think that's what needs to happen here. I think you need to work your way out of this. I think you need to double your number of hours that you're working. and you really need to turn on the steam and pour out the calls. If you've gone from 0 to 60,000 pretty quick here at 22 years old, I think you can kick this on up. So let's work our butts off and get this on up to 70, 80, 90, and throwing all of it at these debts. And I think you can clear these debts up then. You're going to have no life for a little while, but you've done a couple of really stupid things in a row, like 3 of them. You bought a car you couldn't afford, you bought an insurance agency you couldn't afford, and you got ripped off with an insurance class. And all of that totals almost $100,000 at 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take you a little while to dig out. But if you dig out and end up with this insurance agency, this book of business clear, and you don't owe anything on it, you don't owe anything on your car, and you don't owe anything on these credit cards, you pay off your student loans, dude, you're going to be sitting pretty. But that means you're going to work the next 2 to 3 years with no life, and you're going to work like an angry madman getting after it and clean this mess up. And that's really what needs to happen here. And then, if you don't want to stay in the insurance business, you will have built that book of business up, and you'll be able to sell it for a substantial profit. I mean, there's possibility you could work with the guy you're working with and hand him that book of business back if you had a different career track and get out of that $20,000 worth of debt if you wanted to. That would be another way of clearing some debt. But, you know, you got a $60,000 income, which is no slouch income for 22. That's not bad. You're spending it all out. So you need to get on a written budget, and you need to increase your income, and you need to decide if you're going to stay in the insurance business. And if you are, then let's just turn it up. Just turn up the heat, and let's get this mess cleaned up.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.